Let's talk about it with one of our favorites, Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football and the 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt podcast on the Ringer and Spotify. How are you, Kyle?
Rich, electric moment in the Brandt household a few days ago.
How
I have
so?
to tell you, we've kind of worn out our shows and our entertainment and everything. We've watched so many this year, so we're going back to things that we missed.
Yes.
And we found this show that we're loving, and it's called I'm Sorry.
Oh!
And I'd never seen the show, and we're watching it, and we're liking it. There's this fantastic female lead, and it's all based in
Andrew
L.A., and we
Savage.
like it.
Yep.
Middle of one of the episodes, I'm in the kitchen. My wife Brooke's on the couch. She starts yelling, come here, get in here. I'm like, what? I look up on the screen, and I see Eisen staring back at me.
Yes.
They're at your house. You're giving away goldfish.
Yes.
Now, I thought I knew about it. I saw you in Billions. I've seen you in a bunch of things. I didn't know you were in I'm Sorry, and I want to say to you, I'm sorry. I wish I would have been there. That looked like a blast.
It was a total blast, Kyle. And, you don't have to apologize for anything because I like just sneaking up on people.
Yeah.
I like sneaking up on people. And Andrea Savage, who's dynamite. I mean, she is the creator and writer, and she directed the episode that I was in. She's just brilliant. Her daughter and my son go to the same school together.
Oh,
so,
okay.
And her husband, Jeremy's like, hey, there's a role that you might be perfect for. Would you be up for it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Absolutely. Where I play a clueless dad whose kid is having a birthday party, and the giveaway is a goldfish, which only serves to create a problem in a household for a parent because the goldfish inevitably will die, and you now have to talk about death with your child. And I thought that was a brilliant construct. And I'll be honest with you, Kyle, the one scene you're referring to is the only scene I'm in it. And I was disappointed when I got the script that I was only in one scene. And then I saw how I'm referenced the rest of the show with a curse word associated with my name. And I'm like, that actually might be better.
Yeah, but I saw an association with your name, and the construct of that show that's great is that there's kid time and parenting, but then there's the way that the adults talk when the kids aren't around. And there's a moment in which her husband, who is the drummer from The Wonders, walks away from talking to you and is palpably titillated from talking to you. And she says something about, put away your Rich Eisen, and then rhymes with loner. And I was like, wow, that sounds like a fantasy team name. That was an amazing legacy and a phrase to follow you around. So congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to go deeper down this wormhole with you because I gave Andrea an idea that she never put into a show. But the idea was born out of she was in the room and I was in the room in the same audience at my son's and her daughter's school. And they were in the same school production, same play.
Okay.
And before the production started, the teachers who were in charge of the production thanked all the parents who were helping out throughout the entire production, make sure that it could happen, okay? And she said she didn't want to miss any of the parents' names. So if all the parents who were involved in putting the production together could just stand up so we can give everyone a round of applause. And that happened. And my idea was, what if I was one of the parents who absolutely had nothing to do with the production, but stood up in that moment to accept applause for being part of it when everyone knew I wasn't? I wanted to be that guy and create the sort of problem of, do you call that person out? How do you call that person out? How do you shame that person who has no shame to accept that in front of the entire parent population? I think I would love that. That's the next role I would want to play.
Rich, I don't know if it is the Jet fan in you or maybe the coffee mug that's to your right now, but that is a very Larry Davidian storyline right there, in which Larry would completely call BS on the parent who stands for the applause that they didn't earn.
Exactly. Like, would you call that person out? Like, what would you do? Like, hey, I know for a fact you had nothing to do with this. Sit down.
It reminds me of when Larry and Cheryl go out to dinner with a couple that they're friends with, and afterwards, when the other person picks up the check, they thank the gentleman who picks up the check, and then the wife says, don't you want to thank me too?
That's
and
right.
Larry's like, why? You don't work. Why would I thank you? And it becomes this terribly awkward thing that she thinks she deserves the thanks, which maybe she does, but Larry wasn't giving it to her. It's a brilliant
my
construct.
gosh. My dad, may he rest in peace, loved that episode. Absolutely.
Great episode. Can't help it.
Oh, God. He loved all that. Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. You just mentioned by mentioning the Jets, I guess, in a way, what happened with the Jets the end of this week. Where does this rank for you in your football viewing, sending 8 men at a quarterback in that situation to leave the rookie playing his 5th game, an undrafted rookie on an island against Henry Ruggs? Where does that all rank what Gregg Williams dialed up for you?
It's up there. It's a half measure. I mean, he sent 8. He could have sent 11. He actually kept a few people back. And every layer of this is weird. I think one of the most underrated layers is that the cornerback who was beaten, his name is Lamar Jackson.
That's right.
What the hell is an undrafted rookie from Nebraska named Lamar Jackson, who, God help him, it's not his fault. I was wondering if there was going to be a Buddy Ryan, Kevin Gilbride moment on the sideline with Adam Gase literally assaulting Gregg Williams. And I wouldn't have blamed him. Like, if you don't stand for anything at this point, listen, say what you want about the Jets, whether the organization wants to win or lose. I have to think Adam Gase wants to win the game.
Of course.
And one was just completely taken from him. So I got to admit, I love listening to you guys during the commercial. And I heard the name I.K. Enampali, which is just filed away in like a 2013 time capsule for me.
Yes.
But it's up there with Enampali. And we've talked about this before, Rich. There's only like 3 highlights in Jets history, and I think it's Joe waving the finger running off after the Super Bowl, Jumbo Elliott in the Monday Night Miracle, and Bart Scott saying can't wait. Those are the 3 good ones, but there's 500 bad ones, and I can't think of a better one. Even this side of the butt fumbles, blast on is, as Derek Carr to Henry Ruggs beat Lamar Jackson.
Well, even crazier is I just shot the latest episode of The Grind that's going to be on Epix tonight at 9 Eastern time. I shot it yesterday. I had no idea, but of course NFL Films, which produces it, knows this sort of thing. That Ruggs catch was 50 years to the day when the old Oakland Raiders did it to the Jets in Shea Stadium with a bomb from the middle of the field to beat them. Like literally, I didn't know that. And they're going to show that footage tonight.
And was that a Stabler throw, or is that the right area? I don't remember that play.
It's got to be.
That's so cool.
50 years to the day. It's insane. It's insane when these two teams get together. I got Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay. To me, the Week 14 schedule, certainly on the AFC side, is like a schedule version of an angry run. Where where it just makes me want to get up off the couch and just go and stand up and go hit somebody myself. Kudos to the chef, and Howard Katz and Mike North and the rest of the crew.
Sure.
I mean, and I just want to walk down it with you, certainly starting with the Steelers team that you said was going to go to the Super Bowl preseason, just coming off of their first loss. Would you say that the 21st century version, and I know that he's been playing most of his football in the 20th century, if not obviously all of it, but Josh Allen is this generation's version of Big Ben. What do you think about that idea?
I like it. I like the stature. I like the arm. When I was coming off watching that Bills game the next morning, which I think was the best game of Josh Allen's professional career.
I agree with that.
I came away saying, this guy looks like 6'5" Aaron Rodgers. Like, he looks like a steely, cold-blooded sniper. And I'm there with you on the Roethlisberger, but honestly, even better than Big Ben. Even when in Ben's early young career winning the Super Bowl, I think Josh Allen looked more talented and a better runner. Like, he looked the other night like a top 3 guy. Because the thing is always with him, it's just you need some poise. I always compare him to Johnny Knoxville. Like he's just crazy sometimes. He pulls laterals out of his backside and he throws it to people who aren't receivers. And it's like he gets a little sugar high sometimes. Not in that game. I mean, his pulse did not bounce the entire time. And these are the games on national television now, the games that count. And Josh Allen, over the next month, is going to be one of the few faces of the league. He's on national TV a bunch, including this Sunday night against the Steelers team that can't catch a pass, can't make a tackle. Like there's blood on the water in Pittsburgh. They went from 11-0 to like sound the alarm right now.
Well, and because I guess Connor needs to come back healthy. Can't have Big Ben throw it 50 times. You just can't. Just cannot do that. Certainly against a team like Washington. I mean, you're basically running straight into the headwind with something like that.
Yeah.
And the way that the Bills looked, again, I know that the 49ers are getting inconsistent play from their quarterback, but the Bills defense, I would say, is going to be amped. It's one of those games, man, I wish there were fans. I mean, could you imagine the Western New York getting lubricated, everybody from Pittsburgh coming up, straight line to be hanging out and burning tables in the parking lot all day? I mean, this would be amazing.
It's why we do it. It's why we got into this.
I know. And I know.
If I'm Ben,
yes,
this is the time of year, Rich, when the rich quarterbacks, they get their receivers and their linemen the gifts, and they get them the watch or the fancy grill or the ATV, or just they get the gifts, and everybody puts on Instagram. It's great. If I'm Roethlisberger, I'm going to say enough of this. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl this year. This may be my last year. I'm going to get from my wide receivers. I'm going to get them a gift. Mm-hmm. I'm going to buy each one of them a signature jugs machine with an extension cord so they can put it in their back seat and remember how to catch. And I'm going to put that on Instagram because these receivers, Juju and Claypool, they're great on TikTok and good for them and God bless them. They've been terrible on the field. I mean, to your point about the Bills game, the Steelers receivers have been embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. And they're likable guys, young, energetic group. They're going to go against the Trey White and the Jordan Poyer and those guys in the Bills secondary, and the Steelers better find their dignity back because the Steelers receivers completely embarrass themselves. Get them just that's cosign it.
There it was. I think you got a cosign. Yeah, that's the cosign from the coach right there. That's our new drop off sucking. We got that. So Mahomes and Tua too, man.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, just when the Dolphins, by the way, I was talking about this because one of my, if you will, 4 downs yesterday was the Saints are a defensive team that, and dressed up in offensive guru clothing.
Sure, they're great.
Right. But Pittsburgh has the number one scoring defense, giving up just 17.6. Right behind him is Miami, 17.7. Here we go. Kyle Van Noy was all over the place, and I know Cincinnati. But this defense is ready to roll. Flores wants to have a pelt on the wall. And here comes Kansas City coming in after a few weeks where they haven't been dominant. I mean, they have – I mean, it's been a while. The Jets game was the last time where Mahomes did whatever he wanted to do, and there really was nothing in doubt. Okay? Mm-hmm. And they've played it all. They played it all like what happened against Denver this past week. They also got in a shooting match with Vegas, right? And Kansas City also had – that game against Tampa where they got up big and did whatever they wanted in one quarter and then had to hold on for dear life. So this one's going to be amazing too. 2 versus 6. Certainly if you think the Steelers are vulnerable later on that night, Kansas City doesn't want to have Pittsburgh take the field knowing that they've already lost too. This is big. I can't wait.
It's really big. And I look at Miami right now. There was that terrible, ugly, strange incident against Cincinnati with the 2 special teams hits.
Right.
And I came out on Monday morning on our show in the morning, and I said, I want to do a whole thing on Brian Flores. Give me the tape of him. Give me the incident. I want to stand on a soapbox and scream about this. I was discouraged from doing that due to sensitivity with the extracurriculars, and I appreciate that why. However, Brian Flores, I think, won so much more love and loyalty from the Dolphins locker room that he already had before that. If you have your head coach, actually standing in the middle of the field looking for a piece of someone. Look, there's a few coaches in the league who would do that. There's a few coaches who would want to make you think that they would do that, and they're posers, and they want to be held back. Flores was ready, and his message was like, you're going to hurt our guy, and that's enough. One time you can do it, second time, I will literally fight you right here on the field, full men in full pads. I got goosebumps when I saw it, and I can't even imagine being in the locker room. Do not underestimate the power of a Miami team that totally believes in its head coach on the last month of the season. I think they're incredibly dangerous, and it would not shock me if they won this weekend at all.
And then rookie receiver Lynn Bowden Jr. went up to Flores after everyone went back to their sidelines and tried to give Flores a fist bump, and Flores didn't. Basically returned to like, I'm your head coach. We don't fist bump here. I don't do that. Like, I just was out there, but I'm back on the sideline. I'm your coach. He does seem to be hitting every note correctly, even with putting Tua back in. And again, I know it's Cincinnati. If they win against Kansas City, you can point to the fact that he got Tua back in against Cincinnati as an important an important moment. And then this is big for Kansas City to basically say, okay, nice feel-good story, but it's midnight and you're a pumpkin again. This is a big, I can't tell you how exciting this game is for me, as well as the one that we just mentioned on Sunday Night Football. And then you've got a game that plays into our poll question that I'm going to have Chris Brockman ask you right now. You've got the Colts at the Raiders right there on the, if you will, new playoff Mason-Dixon line. Go for it, Chris Brockman. Hit it.
What do you got, Chris?
Yeah, Kyle, who ends up the 7th seed in the AFC? Colts, Raiders, Ravens, Patriots.
Colts, Raiders, Ravens, Patriots. I do not believe in the Patriots, and I know there's some of the most dangerous words to say in all of sports media, but I think they were more dangerous when Tom Brady was the quarterback.
Right.
Cam right now is reminding me of something the Boston fans have seen before. They were reminding me of the Big Shamrock when Shaquille O'Neal showed up at about 36 years old. Contributed, was fine, but gassed, not himself. And the difference is that Cam does not have the big ticket and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen around him. He has Gunnar Olszewski. God love him. I do not think the Patriots are going to get there. The Dolphins, I really like. The Raiders, I am such a fan of the Raiders brand and company, and I want them in the AFC playoffs. It is someone in the WWF Royal Rumble that shakes things up. It's a bad guy. It's The Undertaker. It's Big John. I want them in. But, God, I just saw them get destroyed by Atlanta and need what appeared to be an inside job to beat the New York Jets, who might be the worst team ever assembled. So I don't think it's going to be the Raiders. And, Brockman, tell me again, who am I missing?
Ravens and Colts are your choice
Colts.
that you've just narrowed it down to.
I'm going to go, man. What we saw last night from Baltimore is exactly what you don't want to see if you're one of these teams. Like that Colts, Dolphins, all these teams. Damn, we did not want to see Lamar get going. It was like a proverbial home run hitter. Say whoever you want. Adam Dunn, Ryan Howard, Mark McGuire, who hadn't hit one in a while and just decided to swing out of his shoes and hit one about 600 feet. Them getting that run game going, shock and awe. Absolute shock and awe. So I'm going to say, despite that, my roundabout answer, I never count out Frank Reich. Frank Reich gets out of bed down 4 touchdowns in a fight. I still think the Colts are going to get there despite what happened to them against Tennessee. I'll bet on them.
Yeah, and the Ravens' conference record right now is an awful tiebreak for them. That's the reason why they're behind the Raiders right now, having the same record. Their conference record is an issue and a problem, and here come the Browns. And again, that's the end of
push is the best.
I know, and that's what this week is amazing. It ends with the Browns trying to just absolutely decleat the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens, as we know, have given the Browns and Baker Mayfield their worst losses in the Baker Mayfield era. And they are, even though, as you mentioned, having that home run hitter back in the groove again, they are still on the ropes here. And, boy, I mean, this would be the knockout. This would be just a way for them to also say, we are here and we are for real and we are a 10-win team, for crying out loud. And we're going to break that 17-season playoff drought and so on and so forth. That's why I love this week, man. This week 14 is amazing.
Yeah, it just stakes. The Browns get to 10 wins and knock out the MVP. The flip side of it being, it is the ultimate back to the shallow end loss for the Browns. Should the Baltimore Ravens roll over them, it's like, same old Browns. And guess what, Baker? Those commercials ain't so funny anymore. It's the stakes. It swings either way. It's going to be a huge statement next day.
Kyle, thanks for the time, man. I'm glad you found I'm Sorry. It's a brilliant show. That's a good one.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm
going to go watch I'm Sorry, Rich. In the meantime, one of these days we got to do this in person. In the meanwhile, I will be enjoying my Rich Eisen phoner.
That's it. Kyle, you're the best. And your pod is off for the rest of 2020? Is that what you're...
See you in season 2 next year.
Okay, fantastic. And well done. Thanks for the call. We'll do it again soon. That's Kyle Brandt right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.